Animation gets a lot of flack in the West. A medium that is still regarded as for kids entertainment only. Despite many shows and movies that contradict that belief, we've also seen a lot of well animated shows either get cancelled or forced to shorten their seasons, while hot garbage like Big Mouth gets more season. It's not surprising that with the rise of anime in the West in the last 10 years, that American studios have also copied certain styles from anime for Western audiences. It's also not a surprise you've seen the rise of great anime shows that have become so popular, like on Netflix and Hulu and all that, and HBO Max specifically. So, I'm going to talk about an anime show that I feel like hasn't been making the rounds here, that it should be. It's called Blue-Eyed Samurai. Well, where do I start? Well, I guess it starts with The plot follows a young samurai on their quest to sort of get revenge for how they've been wronged in the past by 4 groups of individuals. Now, I know I'm keeping it very vague, but there's like a spoiler in the first episode, so I want to keep it as vague as possible so you can get the surprises I got. And even though it's a very simple story, it basically follows this one samurai on their quest for revenge, and that's about it. What goes on that's the entire plot of the story. What goes on in the story itself, the complexities, the characters, the twists and turns, where everything is not as you once believe. This person is not who you think he is. This person is not who she is. There's a lot of twists and turns. There's a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Reveals that we are sort of set up at the beginning. So it's like, oh, this is how it is. This is who she is. This is who he is. But then they sort of flip that on your head during the entire story. And we follow a couple other characters. We have, and we follow a bunch of other characters, not just the samurai. We follow the subplot of one of the main villains. There's also a subplot with one of the villains and their quest to sort of take over Japan and sort of dethrone the shogun. Yeah, this takes place in the Edo period of Japan, correct? And it deals with what it was like for people during that time, and especially women. You can see certain things from a perspective. You can see how the environment shaped these people as people. And when you think, oh, this is who this character is, this character takes a different turn all about. You know what I mean? A character you once thought was good and righteous turns out to have a lot more complexity than you thought. And someone you thought was an asshole at the beginning turns out to be someone very complex, someone very deep. So yeah, I think one of the appeals of the series itself is the animation. It's a good mix of CGI, 3D animation, and 2D animation. The blood and violence and gore is very similar to that of Quentin Tarantino with the Kill Bill series. And I think they can do a good job at not really going overboard with the gore, but just doing enough that it's fun and it's entertaining in a way. And I think that's one of the main appeals of the series is the action. The action is pretty good. The action is very fluid, despite it being a 3D animated property. So, sorry. So yeah, I recommend this series because I feel like it's not getting the respect and eyes on it that it deserves. You know what I mean? I feel like it's not getting as much attention as it deserves as a series. And the themes, the complexities that the series tackles, which during that time period, what it was like during that time period as a person, especially as a woman, I think they do a good job at showing these themes, showing these characters, how they're reacting to the environment around them. I think the series does a good job at putting you into that time period. I think it does a good job at establishing the characters really well. As you think this character type is not what he is at the beginning, and they show a lot more complexity to that said character. And like I said, it's a shame that this series really hasn't gotten the respect it deserves. It really hasn't gotten the sort of like, what's what I'm looking for? Sort of like eyes on it that it deserves. Because, you know, with a lot of like adult animated properties, they really like get off the ground, or they're just outright canceled at just when they're starting to get off the ground. And that's it. Especially with a Netflix series, you know, all the shows it has cracked and canned and shoved off its platform. And yeah, so I really hope this doesn't get canceled. I really see that this has a lot of potential to be a bigger story than it is, and I hope to actually see this story progress and sort of reach the milestone that a series like this deserves, because it's a really good series. That's why I made this whole video, because I wanted to recommend to a lot of people, sort of like, this is a good series, you should check it out. So yeah, that's why I made this video, to sort of put eyes on this series as a whole, and get it out there to the audience, to people, because it's not given the respect it deserves. And yeah, that's about it. You know what I mean? I really recommend this series. It's a really well thought out, well written series. Great animated show too. You know, if you want to see more from me, click that like, comment, subscribe button, and I'll see you later. Alright. So, there then. Why did I make a review of this particular series above all else? Why did I make it on another adult anime series? Because I see this as a show, an animated series that can go the extra mile, can prove to a lot of people that animation is fit for adults, and adult animation is for adults as well, not just for kids, despite the stigma around the medium itself. And I think this series is a good example of using animation to its fullest potential. And the fact that animation gets so much flack, either it's canceled or it's shoved off, and while trash like this gets its upcomings, while a really well written animated shows don't really get that pleasure, and that's really just not good to me, because I want to see more artistic expression in this media of animation, because I feel like there's a lot to explore in this kind of medium, which I feel doesn't get the respect it deserves. So the reason I talked about this particular show, because it represents everything I'm talking about. It represents artistic integrity. It represents the stigma that animation is also for adults. Ooh, sorry. It represents adult animation entirely, and the fact that it's not getting enough eyes on it really like upsets me. So yeah, that's why I made this video, because I wanted to sort of give it its shining light in a way. And I hope people will see this series after I've made this video. Probably not. I still have a low subscriber count, but you know, this is at the beginning. Anyway, that's about it. If you want to see more from my channel, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you later. Alright, bye.